That whole Just Say No movement, one of the reasons that was even in existence is because of the man we are about to introduce right now. I mean, he's basically, he was the wholesaler of wholesalers when it came to crack cocaine in the 80s. If you touched crack cocaine in Los Angeles and many other parts of the country in the early to mid 80s, there's a very, very high chance this man had something to do with it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Freeway Rick Ross. Come on through, my friend.
Woo!
Come on through.
Come
it is a
on
pleasure.
down.
Have a seat. Have a seat.
Yes,
Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead and grab your headphones so you can hear everything.
So you can hear all the nonsense.
Yeah.
We're going to talk.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, glad
Yeah.
to be here. Glad to be here.
Long time coming, and thank you so much to my homegirl Trish, who made all this possible.
Cool.
Now, Mr. Ross, God, I just want to kind of start from the beginning, man. How
Let's
did
go.
you?
Let's
Let's go. He's ready.
Because I know.
So what you got for me,
man.
fool?
Yeah, because I know everything about this dude, man. Just growing up in
Yeah.
L.A., it's kind of like he's a legend. You hear his name synonymous with, I mean, Frank Lucas on, the other side of the country, and, Griselda Blanco down in Miami. I mean, these are people who we grew up, fucking idolizing. I hate this, I don't want to, but we grew up idolizing.
And it's
people.
crazy.
Yeah, it is, right?
It is
I mean,
crazy to.
so much so that there's a dude out there making millions of dollars off your name. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's so crazy to where how far your name has made it, man.
Yeah. When I first started, I never would have thought that it would have grown into what it grew into.
Really?
It's not something that I had sit down and planned or mapped out. It wasn't like that. It was like, I'm just gonna make a couple bucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get
To
myself,
survive.
Yeah, get a nice little
get
car,
myself
maybe.
out of this position that I'm in. Give myself a boost, and then it just like exploded, man, into something that that you wouldn't even dream about in your wildest nightmares. You're talking about a kid that when I was a kid, I went to school with holes in my shoes and no lunch money. I had to sneak on the RTD bus.
Damn, the RTD. I remember the RTD, man.
I remember the
That's some LA
RTD
shit
too.
right there.
Yeah, I just had to sneak on the bus, man, because I didn't have bus fare to get home from school. You know,
Yeah.
after a long day of playing tennis in school.
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
Because you were a tennis prodigy, right? I mean,
I was trying to be a tennis pro.
Okay.
Wow.
I was kind of molding myself after Arthur Ashe.
Oh, okay. And why tennis? Like, is that just what you were good at, or you just like?
Well, I wanted to play football. I mean, in the ghetto, there's only a few ways that we feel that we can get out.
Yeah. Basketball, football, rap, or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
When I was in the 9th grade of high school, I've been playing tennis a couple years, but none of the high school coaches looked at me in football, basketball.
Okay.
When they came down and they were picking guys who they wanted on their teams, I didn't get picked.
Oh yeah.
Because I was a little guy.
Right.
So you said, "Fuck y'all, show you."
Yeah.
Tennis, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it started with the tennis, and and then when tennis didn't pan out, it was cocaine.
You started
And how did that
hustling.
come about? Who introduced you to? Who gave you your first bag? Like, what? How did that go about?
One of my big homies.
Okay.
His name was Michael McLaurin. He went to Fremont High School. He was a couple years older than I was, and he got a scholarship in football and went off to college. And when he came back with this white powder, man. And
Okay.
He said, "Fuck college. This is where the money's at."
Yeah. He didn't want to play football no more. He's like, man,
That shit's too much work. Training and shit.
getting hit
Easy.
on and knocked around.
Yeah. This is much easier. And I mean, but back then it was kind of seen that cocaine was more of a like a rich man, white man drug. You know what I mean? So
very, very exclusive. When I talk to some of the young kids now, they can't believe the prices that
it used to be back then. What was the price, like average gram of coke back then?
$350, $375 per gram.
Shit, that's
She's
that's
got me about
80s
a 20
money.
bag of weed.
That's 80s money.
Damn.
What would that be today?
That would probably be double or maybe
Fucking
even
double,
triple. Maybe even triple. But
Damn.
it's reversed, I believe.
Well,
don't
no,
know shit
I
about
mean
those.
the value's gone down,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about like the worth.
Yeah.
$350
Back
in the
then,
80s.
yeah.
Yeah, probably right now would be worth like $1,200.
God. Man, dude. God.
So I'm curious because earlier you said that that basically you started doing this just to get by, just to make a living, so to speak.
Yeah.
What was the turning point? Where did you see this explode, or was it just a gradual process?
It was a gradual process. When I first started, I figured I could make $5,000 and I could be good for the rest of my life. Me and my partner, I had a partner that started with me, so we was like, oh, we make $5,000, we set for life. We never had to do nothing else.
And what was this, $5,000 a month?
No,
just 5,000 total. Yeah, because back then they're just like, 5,000 is a good little chunk.
I mean, you're talking about a guy that didn't have $50 in his pocket.
Yeah, and 5,000 back then.
Yeah. So I never saw 5,000. I don't know if I'd ever saw 1,000.
Yeah.
So you talking about 5,000. I'm like, ooh, 5,000, I can buy a house.
That's exactly.
So it was just like crazy, and then we made 5, and then I said, well, we making like $300 every day. Let's make 20. So I started, and it just kept, roller coasting.
And was it crack at this time, or was it
both?
Oh,
both.
Okay. Because this was what year are we talking about?
81-ish.
Okay. Because crack hit about I remember, I'm kind of a little bit older, but I remember L.A. hitting crack about the 83, 84. So that's probably when it hit the news, but it's already been.
Yeah, it had been there.
Okay.
It was there even before I started.
Okay.
But at that time they were doing what they call ether basing.
Freebase or whatever, right? Is that freebase?
Well,
something like that.
Crack, because we didn't call it crack.
Okay.
We used to call it ready rock.
Okay.
Rock cocaine. They used to what they call ether base, and it was so many chemicals to make it that somebody figured out that you could just do it with baking soda, and it was much faster. So it just flipped.
Oh, okay.
From there, and then at one
Probably
time,
cheaper too, huh? Or about the same?
Not really cheaper, but just in the time, because freebasers are like, they want it right now.
Okay.
And it was a mentality of the people that were doing it, because all the people who were doing it was wealthy.
Okay.
And you know how wealthy people are.
Give it to me now.
Yeah.
Right now. Rick James, give it to me right now, baby.
Fuck your couch. Yep.
So
go ahead.
so that's pretty much how it kicked off, and it just like kept snowballing, kept getting bigger and bigger and faster and bigger and faster and better
and now, were you working towards making it that big, or it was, like you said, just something that came almost like fell in your lap?
After I got started and I saw what I was doing, I was trying to make it big.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah.
You said
Smart
fuck
man.
5,000.
Smart man.
Oh no! I started pooling all my money back into the drugs.
Oh. You invested.
Yeah,
you invested wisely.
I found out
Smart man.
Compound interest.
We're gonna have to talk after this.
Now I want to bring this up because this is very important. You were illiterate all through high school, correct?
Yeah, totally.
So for a man to accomplish all of this and not even be able to, read what people were putting in front of him, how did you even make it to $5,000? How did you even make it to $20,000? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I couldn't read, but I could count real well.
There you go, Matt. Yeah.
Whole different skill set.
You lose an eye, man. My ear sight is better, right?
And what I found out is that people, what do they have? What is it called? The word I'm looking for? They like compensate.
Yeah.
For weaknesses.
Oh yeah,
like
exactly.
Overcompensate.
Right.
So what I found out about myself is that I read people really well.
Okay.
I was really good at reading people and figuring people out, and that became like one of my access.
That makes a lot of sense.
I was going to say that has to
read.
be absolutely pivotal in that industry, because it's horrible. I must imagine that you're always having to watch your back. Like, who can you trust?
Always.
Who can you not?
You can't trust really anybody.
Man.
Damn.
Because there's a thing that we say when I was in jail, is that today's drug partner is tomorrow's snitch.
Yeah.
Which is what happened to you, essentially, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
and on several times.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Damn,
Several
dude.
times.
So to kind of get back to the beginning of everything, did you just when did you get your first car, like your first Benz? Like,
I never
fast,
bought.
you know what I mean? Like, how fast
I never bought a Benz for myself.
Okay.
I never. I bought a few new cars, but it wasn't like, just like playing cards.
Because like, when did you feel it? Like I'm balling out of
Grand
control. Like I'm balling. Dumb.
I knew the first thing I bought was a motel.
Okay, see, smart. Yeah,
So I knew when I bought the motel that I was wealthy.
Okay, leaving the dope game and just hopefully
Absolutely.
focus on.
You know,
okay.
I kind of like mapped my career out after Superfly. I saw the movie
Okay.
Superfly.
Okay.
You know, and in the movie Superfly, if you remember, he wanted out of the game. You know, he no longer wanted to be a drug dealer, and so with myself, I wanted out. And when I went into the drug business, I went in with the intention that I was not going to get stuck in the game, because you know, you hear so much about, oh, if you sell drugs, you know, the mafia gonna own you, and I didn't want to be owned by anybody. I was selling drugs for freedom, because what I found out is that when you're poor and broke, when you're not free.
Nope.
We got kids right now in South Central that has never been to the beach.
Yeah.
That's true, and it's 10 miles away, maybe 12 miles, if that. You know what I mean?
So that's kind of like being
That's nuts,
confined
Yeah.
into a certain area, certain demographic, and it's not really what I consider as freedom.
It's not
Yeah,
growth,
and
at
that's all they know.
How many states did? Because you started obviously in L.A., but I know your, I guess, I don't know, franchise,
Empire.
Empire kind of
Make it sound
went
more
into other
important,
states.
man.
Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, you know, cocaine it's a funny drug. I mean, well, you know what? Really, all drugs has a way of moving around. I mean, even when I was in the pen, I was at USP Lompoc, one of the most secure penitentiaries in the country.
Okay.
And I was in the hole, which
Okay.
is considered like a jail inside of
Yeah.
the jail.
Yeah.
And while I was there, a guy OD'd in prison, inside of the prison.
Shit.
So you're talking about...
Did you supply him that shit?
No, but
He's all,
that's how deep it rolls. He was in the hole, and he was still getting drugs.
Yeah, meaning that he had no
That's
contact with other inmates.
amazing, but
when you're in
he
the hole, you
still
don't
had
have
it.
contact with
Yeah.
other inmates.
Well, we were actually on our drive up here, we were talking about Griselda Blanco and how even while she was incarcerated, she was still running all kinds of shit. You know
Yeah.
what? And I was like, how? I mean, because I can't wrap my mind around the genius it takes to do something like that.
It is a genius thing. Did you, now, being that you did spread into other territories, did you ever have any problems with any other, you know what I'm saying? Because the 80s, there was a lot of big name, you know what I'm saying, drug dealers in other cities, Chicago, Miami, New York, of course. Did you ever have any problems?
I mean, I've always been kind of seen like the forefront of the crack epidemic, and I don't have the type of personality that would conflict with people. So I mean, I had pretty much of a run. I mean, almost like right now, you know. I mean, it's like
Same
crazy.
you, right?
You know, I go some places, man, and they just like open up the city for me. You know, it's like
Wow.
Nice.
unbelievable. I cannot believe the kind of love and respect that I'm getting. I mean, I'm just like overwhelmed that that people accept me.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
for what I did. You know,
What did you do differently that the average drug dealer wasn't doing back then? How did you turn $0 into, I think your empire almost reached 600 million?
my last 2 years, I made at least $1 million every day.
Every fucking day.
Every day?
and some days,
God
day.
damn.
and some days up to 3 million.
Jesus.
Shit.
I wasn't into the cars. I wasn't into the clothes.
You were smart. You didn't bring attention to yourself.
No, it didn't, because if I would have, I would have been busted a long time
Right
ago.
away, yeah.
Because you know they created a task force that
Yeah.
was called the Freeway Task Force.
Specifically for you. Your name is almost synonymous with CIA, with Ronald
Contras.
Reagan, with Nicaragua.
Yeah,
How did
yeah.
this come about?
Well, it was this reporter named Gary Webb from the San Jose Mercury News, and he was following my old drug supplier. You know, trying to
Okay.
figure out who this guy was, what was he doing, how did he do it, you know, how was this guy avoiding prosecution for all these years. In his research, he ran into me, and we struck up a friendship, and he told me he was writing a story, and we just started working together.
You funded, and this is what I fucking found amazing, you funded Anita Baker's first album.
I gave Otis Smith the $600,000 to finance her project.
Why didn't you go into hip-hop?
I had a decision, like, do I go with DJ Pooh and do a hip hop album, or do I go with Otis Smith, Dick Griffey?
Bigger names. DJ Pooh wasn't as big. He hadn't worked with Ice Cube or anybody at that level yet. So.
And then when I went in their offices, they had like the platinum and the gold records.
DJ Pooh was probably in the garage or something, you know what I mean?
Man, I go over to the house, and it's crazy, right? Because I meet Dre a couple years ago for the first time.
Dr. Dre? Okay.
Yeah, so, and I go over to his house, and we sitting in his house, and he was like, man, that day you came over there with DJ Pooh, I was sitting there. I look at it, and I was like, wow, you know, you had all those guys right there. You were right there. And, you know, their project would have been a lot cheaper to finance than what Anita Baker's. And then I had all the independent distribution at that time. You know, I had Otis and Dick Griffey would have did anything that I wanted them to do.
Anything, man. Damn.
So, you know, both of them rest in peace. But, you know, I was right there, man, and I
think you had a decision to make, and you went with the more logical one, because the other one was more of a risk.
Yeah, it wasn't, and they both told me that hip hop wasn't here to stay.
You know what? Let's get on to now. Who do you know the source of who turned you in, or was it just your name was just already out there, you know, and it just was inevitable?
Well, my name was out, you know. I believe that they have what they call a pecking order, and they go to the top of the list and they work their way down.
Right.
Well, my name was already there, and when Danilo Blandon, who is my informant, the guy that set me up, when they came to him and told him that they wanted me, then he obliged, you know, by cooperating with him and setting me up.
And I believe I read too, he wasn't even deported after that, right?
No, I got him deported.
Yeah.
I got him deported.
Wikipedia, you need to update your shit.
From prison. He is deported now, but he wasn't at that time.
Yeah.
You know, the law is pretty clear. It says that if an alien gets convicted of a felony, they must be deported. Well, in his case, he got convicted, but they didn't deport him. They allowed him to get a job with DEA.
Ain't that some shit?
And was working. And when he set me up, he shouldn't even been in this country. So
you got on that shit real quick. Huh?
Oh man! And then this guy Tellez, he should have been fired, but they demoted him at least. You know, I had to settle for the demotion. Well, he's the guy that for INS that doctored up his green card and gave it to him. I don't know how this guy is still a INS agent.
I kind of want to touch on this just for a quick bit, but where are you in the process with the rapper Rick Ross, who took your name and made millions and millions of dollars off of it? I know there was some legal action going on. Where are you at the moment with that?
Yeah, well, we just came from the California Supreme Court, and they ruled against us.
Okay.
They said that he turned my name into a character, I think is what they said.
Wow.
And
wow.
And by that happening,
after all the shit you've been through, that must piss you off. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man. It pisses me off, and I'm not even you.
Yeah. So,
look at he's over here all chill.
So you know, I'm not surprised though. You know, whenever they open their arguments, the first thing they would say is the big bad drug dealer. You know, once you sell drugs in this country right now, it's such a stigma to it that once you do that, then you don't really have rights anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that people can trample over you.
You're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're bad forever. You know, once you do that, you can never get that jacket off of you.
How have you gotten that from the community? Because the community has embraced you so well.
Well, you know, most of the people in the community, they understand.
Okay.
You know, they're there. They're at that line where they're like, I'm ready to cross that line myself. You know,
They understand the frustration.
I can see myself crossing that line, you know.
Yeah.
So they understand. You know, it's more so the people who are up in the
upper echelon, yeah.
Well, the ones that have never had to suffer, so they don't know what it's like to go hungry, to not have. Of course, it's easy for them to point a finger and say you're bad, for what you're doing.
Exactly.
But I have a question because I was really surprised that the community has welcomed you back. While you were involved in that industry, did you give back to the community?
Oh, absolutely. I did what, and one of my attorney, shout out to him, Antonio Moore.
Boop, boop.
He brought it to my attention is what I did is when I started buying cocaine, kilos of cocaine was like $75,000, $80,000 a kilo. I brought keys down to 10,000.
10 a key.
10 a key.
Yeah.
And what I did is I didn't keep the people who got their drugs from me at $50,000 a kilo. No, I brought them down to $15,000 a kilo.
Damn. Kind of like the Walmart. I mean, you know, to give it a, you know what I'm saying, a stamp. It's like the Walmart of cocaine, right?
I think that's what LA Times said.
Oh, did they? There you go. See? Damn,
You're so smart.
Didn't even know it.
So clever.
So I shared it with everybody because everybody that I felt that was selling drugs with me, I considered them my friend or my family, and I wanted to see them have money just like I wanted to have money.
Okay, yeah.
Which I think is very unlike your typical drug dealer who is territorial and they will do whatever the hell they have to do to keep the money monopolized. So you were into helping
and overcharge you. You know, I've known guys to like run it with an iron fist and overcharge their people.
Yeah.
Instead of being fair with them and letting them have money, you know. Yeah. They felt like all the money should come to themselves.
Now, did those people remember you? You know, when shit went down?
Well, you know, when you're selling drugs and the people around you. When I first fell, I was mad because nobody was there for me to help me and to help me out of the situation. But after I was there for a while, I started to understand that they were fleeing not only because they didn't want to be around me, but because they were afraid.
Damn. I can't believe this interview's over, man.
This was good.
I got a present for you guys. I want to give you guys a present.
Another one, Rick. We get a present from Mr. Rick Ross.
I heard you said it was your 80th anniversary.
And we don't look a day over 20.
See that? Mr. Ross gives me an anniversary present and you don't.
Yeah. The real Rick Ross is not a rapper, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm gonna rock the
shit
out of that.
My size too. And it's American Apparel.
Hey, can I get one for my sister?
Mr. Ross rocking American Apparel.
Can I get one for my sister?
Can we get one for my man in the control room? He asked if he doesn't mind. He's a huge. Thank you, Mr. Ross. You're the man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Yeah.
I don't do no handshakes.
Y'all.
It's going down after it. I was playing. Mr. Ross, we have to have you back maybe someday in the future. We'd love to have you
My
back.
book is coming out in March.
There you go. I was going to say, pub something. What do you got coming up?
My book is coming out in March. My documentary is coming out, I think, in June. Hey, y'all can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Freeway Rick, Facebook, Freeway Rick. Hit that like button, you know what I'm saying? Yep. Follow me, I follow you back. Yes. I ain't going to be one of them where you follow them and they'll follow you back. You hit me, I got you.
There you go. Hit me and I hit you
And get
back.
you one of these t-shirts. Get you one of these Real Rick Ross is not a rapper t-shirts. They hot.
Yes, there you go.
They come in a variety of colors.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. And make sure